Alright guys, welcome to the video. Out here with my Adidas jacket and my Tesco cap on, a bit of a budget Ned, and so I brought today what I think is Britain's budget banger Bentley. Rover 75 from 2002, and I've had it for 2 years, and I think these things are guaranteed future classics on the basis that it's actually a good car. It's been pretty much faultless as far as reliability comes for me. Mine is the 2-litre diesel BMW engine. This is when BMW owned Rover and how they came to acquire the Mini brand. Mine is the automatic. It's my first ever diesel or automatic. I needed a family car. I had, still do have, a 3-door hatch, which I've owned for quite a while now and always looked after it. So I was just looking for something that would be comfortable and hopefully reliable, and it would do me a year or two until I figured out what I really wanted. And I've had this for 2 years roughly, and aside from getting a new key fob, which fell to bits, being a 22-year-old car, and I hit a pothole and broke a swing arm or something like that. Both fronts were replaced for 80 quid. Just not a lot of money put into it at all. A new exhaust, which I got from Eastern Europe, would cost me £60. That was fitted. It does make the car sound a bit rough because it's cheap. I've just decided to keep the car on the road for as cheap as possible because, unfortunately, the mechanic has condemned this one. It's going to need too much money again on welding and on rust. There is a bit of surface rust on the arches. It's really not too bad though. There's a little bit there. I did clean it once, one time, and it made the rust worse. So just over here, I cleaned it and it came out worse. So I haven't cleaned it again. It's a used car. I use it. You know, I've got a car seat in the back there. Take the kids to the wee man to school, to nursery. And so I've never had an engine warning light. It's never not started, apart from when the battery died. I didn't use it for a few months. Jump started it. It was fine. These things are just so nice to drive, relaxing. I've had the front disc, so the front disc and pads have been done. That was £60. A mate did them for me in exchange to borrow the car. I've had an exhaust put on it, 60 quid as well, and a key fob for 50. Now a whole bunch of welding, that was 500 for the welding. So that's been on top of a £900 purchase. That's been the biggest expense, and it's a good car. I'd probably have another one. The downsides are, I guess, the fuel economy isn't that great being a 22-year-old automatic. The automatic gearbox is quite lazy and changes gear probably later than I would if I had the manual. But the gearbox is apparently stronger than the manual. And the LES compliance that we now have in Scotland, we've had in England for a while, but it's just been brought in. It's quite a big boot. It's used, so I've got cardboard boxes in there for packing stuff up. I've got a whole buggy in there. I can still get shopping in there, no problem. It's a decent sized boot, pretty practical. I don't think I'm going to sell it because the mechanic kind of did me a favour, tidied up some of the rust and just told me that it was going to cost a fortune next year, and I don't want to sell it on to somebody else. It's probably destined for the scrapyard, unfortunately, or to another enthusiast who wants to take the interior out because it is quite nice. The road tax is expensive on it. That's another downside. 400 for the year, which is the most expensive car I own for tax. So yeah, 400 quid for the year. And the fuel economy isn't really that great either. Probably 45 to the gallon for a diesel isn't great. But overall quite reliable. It hasn't, these old diesels, because they predate a lot of the emissions that came in, emission technology, they do have versions of it, but they're quite simple. They can be bypassed. I was going to do that sort of stuff, but I was just advised not to. So it's quite dirty though. The interior, you can see the grime and the dirt. I might clean it up, see how it comes up. It just scuffs. The other thing I like about this car is just how everything still works. It's got, you know, electric windows all round. It's got heated seats. There's the button just here. That warm up quite nicely, and you know, steering wheel buttons just for ease of use. So everything has worked. Now the guy that sold me it, lesson learnt, he drove it out to me and was desperate to get rid of it. Now he said he needed something higher off the ground because he's an older guy. And I probably did want something higher off the ground. I think I saw his car, it was a Ford, one of these SUV things that I just don't think they're that great. He's getting on and getting in and out of the car. I think the real reason was that water was actually getting in through this tail light, and he knew it, and he didn't tell me. He told me it'd been kept in the garage. So I went into the car and I had a little swimming pool in the back here in the wheel well, this is one other thing I don't like about this car, is that there's no button to open the boot. You have to put the key in, and it's just a pain if you're carrying shopping and stuff like that. It's a pain. So underneath all this rubbish here, the wheel well, this was all soaking. This carpet was soaking. I might clear all this out and show you properly. It was soaking, and the wheel well had filled up with water, and water was getting in this tail light here. And I took it apart. It had a very new foam gasket on it that was supposed to stop the water. Obviously, that's telling me that the previous owner knew about the issue. These are notorious for it. I knew that buying it. I should have checked it. I didn't. Maybe he dried it out in the garage for a few weeks and then sold it to me. And then sitting outside it had filled up with water. I didn't check it. Actually fixed it first time. So got some half decent sealant. I think it was a tenner. Got the gasket, sealed it on, sealed it inside, and I've had no water in there since. So if you do have one of these and you're getting water, I used I think it was Gorilla sealant, about a tenner, bathroom sealant basically, but it's just stuff that dries clear. Sealed it on, put it on the other side. So it's a really nice place to be, generally speaking, and it gave me a taste for. This is part of the other reason. See, I've got a sillet bang there for the house. I got this with it, just a massive file of paperwork. I'll try not to show too much there, but yeah, the guy clearly looked after it. Maybe a combination of the low emission zone and the water getting into the wheel well at the back, the corrosion, and he sold it to me. I think he had it up for $950 and I got him down to $900. I should have got him way lower than that. I should have tried to get it for $600-700. Came with 9 months MOT, but I thought £900 for a car with 9 months MOT wasn't too bad. So it's needed a lot of welding though, and I'm not putting any more into it in that regard. So I don't know what to do with it now. It has given me a taste of what I'd like for a family car, which is good. So I have got its long-term successor, which is also an automatic and a little bit upmarket. I'll get that on YouTube as well. So yeah, I think I'm in a weird situation where I live in Scotland with my family but work in Ireland, and I pay more in rent in Ireland than I do on my mortgage here in Scotland. So I don't know if I might turn this into some sort of camper, sleep in the back of it. People do that at my work. It's kind of frowned upon, but there's nothing they could do about it. My work has all the facilities you could need. It's got a 24-hour kitchen and showers and everything. So it would just, I don't know, like I can go and do that 4 months, I get my money back for the car and then scrap it. I feel I just want to try and get back for what I put into it, although it served me quite well. And it's MOT'd until next year. I think it's March next year. So that's my Rover 75. I'll maybe go sit in the car. It's got this lovely cream interior. I bought a steering wheel for it as well, a wooden steering wheel. But this is the only thing in the interior that I don't personally like, is the worn steering wheel. It's not nice to use really. So I bought a wooden one, and there's kits online where you strip off some of this cover, this leather paint, and then you repaint it, and they look pretty good. So I bought the wheel, and because the car's kind of been condemned, I haven't done anything with it. It's very used. You can see that's my missus. See how much of her Coke out of McDonald's she drank, and that's her Red Bull. It's just other people that make a mess of your cars, which is annoying. Like that's 2 of her Red Bulls, her McDonald's cup. I try and keep it clean. The other thing I don't like about this car, so generally speaking, I like most things about it, is this bit here. It just feels very cheap and not very robust, especially at the top here. It's just a bit crap. You can see the car is it is quite dirty. Maybe I should give it a good deep clean and turn it into like a stealth camper to save money for work. What do you think? Let me know in the comments if you think I should do that for as little as possible. Save myself. I'm paying €560, which is probably about 500 sterling, UK sterling, on rent. I do like the interior. I might get another one of these, I don't know. But I have 3 cars at the minute. I like the timeless design of the whole car, the interior, the dash, the analog clock there. This is something that I might bring to the channel as well. I've learned to ride a motorcycle just very recently. If you're in the northeast Fife Dundee area, these guys are absolutely brilliant. I don't own a motorcycle, but I went and got my full license. So thanks very much for listening. If you've enjoyed the content or want to see a bit more, I've got 2 other cars that I own that are taxed and MOT'd and on the road that I'm going to probably get on the channel. The long-term replacement for the Rover here, I'll get on the channel, and my hatch that I've had for 7 years or so, which I'm reluctant to get rid of, even though it's a 3-door and kind of useless. As far as being a family car, I've just looked after it. It's cheap to run. I'm confident that it's going to continue to be a good car with how I've looked after it. So anyway, thanks very much. Take it easy.